Reported around the world in just one day.
The United States also recording 70,000 new cases of the virus in one day for the first time since July. As Ashley Strohmeyer tells us, the rise is leading to new restrictions abroad.
Hundreds of protesters spilled into the streets of Prague Sunday over new lockdown measures to stop the spread of COVID-19. Globally, we've now passed 40 million coronavirus cases. The Czech Republic is one of several European countries reporting record numbers of new infections in recent days.
We know of a number of cities across Europe where ICU capacity will be reached in the coming weeks. And that is concerning as we approach the flu season.
European officials are scrambling to contain a second wave of the virus. In Italy, restaurants and bars are under a curfew after new infections surged past 10,000 in recent days. More than half of England is also under tighter restrictions. People in cities like London and York are no longer allowed to gather indoors with anyone outside of their household.
I want to protect people. I don't want to spread it. I still worry about people whether or not I know them or not.
All these rules now, you can't even see family and friends, but you can go outside and it doesn't make sense.
Officials are stopping short of putting entire countries back under lockdowns, but some business owners say reduced capacity and curfews could still force them to close down for good. Hospitals are feeling the pressure of the second wave. The World Health Organization says intensive care units could reach maximum capacity in the coming weeks if the outbreak isn't controlled. In New York, Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
And we are dealing with our own surge here at home. In North Carolina, we have reported more than 2,000 new cases of COVID-19 for the last 4 days in a row. Thursday and Friday set new record highs for the number of new cases reported in a single day. Those numbers did drop very slightly over the weekend, but more than 2,300 cases were still reported yesterday. The number of people in the hospital also fell slightly yesterday to 1,129. 5 new deaths were reported yesterday, bringing the total number of North Carolinians killed almost to 4,000.
A new system to track those COVID-related deaths launches today. State Department of Health using a new electronic system to create death records in 8 counties. That includes Forsyth and Guilford. Right now, the process to get a death record involves a lot of manual paperwork. It could take months to complete. This electronic system will be faster. It'll help state health officials track COVID deaths in real time. State hopes to have all counties using this new system by next June.
State public health officials have released a plan on who will get the coronavirus vaccine first once it does become available. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services says the initial vaccination will go to healthcare workers and other essential workers.
Well, workers and residents in long-term care facilities, along with people with multiple illnesses, would also be first in line. But the state expects to evaluate that guidance a bit more closely over time.
Well, a local courthouse and city hall are set to reopen today. Greensboro closed the Melvin Municipal Office building on Thursday after a contractor tested positive for COVID-19. It was deep cleaned and then it reopened at 8 o'clock this morning. Now, the Guilford County Courthouse in Greensboro also closed last week after an employee with the sheriff's office tested positive for COVID-19. It's also set to reopen today.
A local high school closed for 2 weeks over COVID-19. Eastern Randolph says it learned about 2 positive cases of the virus last week. Those cases led to a reduced number of staff members at the school. So Eastern Randolph High School's moved to virtual learning only over the next 2 weeks. Anyone who was exposed to the people who tested positive has already been notified by the school.
Randolph County Schools were supposed to begin a plan for elementary school starting today. Plan A, as it's called, allowing students to return in person 5 days a week. However, the last week, the Board of Education decided to push the start of Plan A back a week. Right now, all students in Randolph County are on Plan B, which is a mix of in-person and online learning. Davidson County Schools will begin Plan A for elementary school students today. Kindergarten through 3rd graders will be able to attend in-person classes 4 days a week, with Wednesdays left remote so that the schools can be cleaned. 4th and 5th graders can return to in-person learning 4 days a week on November 2nd.
Some Rockingham County students not in the classroom today. Stoneville Elementary School closed 2 kindergarten classes because of COVID exposure. Today will be a remote planning day for teachers, and then virtual lessons begin tomorrow. Students in those two classes will be learning at home until October 29th. Happening right now, a local school system holding a very special meeting.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Board of Education holding a closed meeting to discuss a personnel matter. The board is expected to talk about replacing Superintendent Dr. Angela Hairston. She announced last week she is resigning and moving to Danville, Virginia to take over as superintendent there. Her last day with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is set for November 13th. She did offer to stay until a good transition plan is in place.
New COVID-19 clusters found at a North Carolina university. UNC Charlotte says it identified 3 new clusters, that's defined as 5 or more cases. 2 of those clusters are in on-campus residence halls. University hasn't said where the 3rd cluster is, just that it involves on-campus and off-campus students. UNC Charlotte has already had to suspend all its men's basketball team activities. The school also had to postpone 3 football games.
If you are the parent of a high school senior or you know someone who is, listen up. Today kicks off North Carolina's free college application week. This year, the week has been extended to 2 weeks, though. It will last until October 30th. Now, during these 2 weeks, dozens of North Carolina colleges and universities will waive their application fees. You can find out which schools are participating by visiting the College Foundation of North Carolina's website, cfnc.org.
Deal or no deal? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has an ultimatum for Congress to pass a COVID stimulus bill. Why she says it's now or never for an agreement.
Plus, things are heating up out on the campaign trail as we get closer and closer to the election. Both sides getting ready for a debate this week. More on all of that just ahead.
Welcome back. Today, President Trump's son will be making a stop here in the Piedmont.
Donald Trump Jr. holding a Make America Great Again rally in Kernersville tonight. It will begin at 6 o'clock at Salem 1. That is on Distribution Court. The rally is free, but you do need to register online on the Trump campaign website. The doors open at 4:30 this afternoon.
Well, the Trump and Biden campaigns have been crisscrossing the country, all as part of a final push before Election Day.
Doug Luzader has more on the states that they are targeting and the big event coming up later this week.
President Trump will be in Arizona today. It looks like former Vice President Joe Biden will spend a few days off the campaign trail as both sides prepare for Thursday's big debate.
And as far as I'm concerned, the Biden family is a criminal enterprise. It really is.
And President Trump accusing the entire Biden family of corruption. And this was in Nevada, a state Trump lost 4 years ago. Today he heads to Arizona, a state he won back in 2016, but a recent poll there shows that Biden now has a 3-point lead.
Hello, North Carolina!
Joe Biden was on offense in a state Trump won last time, but North Carolina may be more of a dead heat now. He hit the president on his handling of the coronavirus.
Trump said in one of his rallies, "We've turned the corner." And my grandfather would say, "This guy's gone around the bend if he thinks we turned the corner."
And coming up this week, round two, the second and final debate between Trump and Biden following that contentious matchup last month. And while the president may bring up court packing and the controversial New York Post story about Hunter Biden and his alleged emails, this time around, look for fewer interruptions from the president.
I do think the president's going to want to hear Joe Biden's answer on some of these, and we'll definitely give him all the time that Joe Biden wants to talk about packing the court. I think he's going to get it on Thursday.
And while Joe Biden may be spending most of his time this week in debate prep, his running mate Kamala Harris will be in another critical swing state, Florida. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
President Trump is scheduled to make a stop in Gastonia on Wednesday. The campaign has not released many details yet, but we know that the rally will start at 7 p.m. Of course, we'll stay on top of this and bring you more details as soon as we get them.
Just a reminder that early voting is underway right now in North Carolina. One-stop early voting runs until Saturday the 31st. Now, this is the only time that you can register to vote and cast your ballot at the same time. To do same-day registration, you have to bring a document to prove your name and address, might be your driver's license or even a utility bill. Early voting also allows you to vote at any early voting site in your county. You don't have to go to your specific polling site. North Carolina has already seen more than 900,000 one-stop early ballots cast and more than 600,000 absentee ballots.
Randolph County has seen one of the largest early voting turnouts in history, despite having limited voting locations. A long wait time was the reality for voters to get into the Board of Elections site on 220 in Asheboro. Some voters only drove a couple of miles. Others had to spend close to 30 minutes in their car. There's only 4 one-stop early voting locations in Randolph County. Elections Director Melissa Johnson says they are picked based on population density and availability of space. Drive patterns are factored into where sites are right now.
We always have a great turnout here. We have people who come from all over the county to all of our sites, but Asheboro is very popular because it is our largest site.
Coming to Asheboro is not that big of a deal, especially to vote for your country.
Well, on Election Day, 22 voting sites will open up across Randolph County, including the southern areas where there are no early voting locations. If you prefer not to vote in person, you can do it by mail, but the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is October 27th.
The White House has just 24 hours left to reach a deal with Democrats on a new COVID-19 economic relief bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a 48-hour deadline for negotiations yesterday. She said she is optimistic, though, that Democrats in the White House will be able to reach a compromise by the deadline. Negotiations on a new economic relief bill have been going on now for several months. Happening now, the wildfire out in California, the largest one in history, growing over the weekend. The Cameron Peak fire now covers more than 200,000 acres.
Evan Krugel spoke with some of the thousands of people who have been forced to evacuate their homes.
It is the last thing people west of Loveland wanted to see. Flames creeping over the ridge near Highway 34, forcing additional evacuations.
It's a lot of people suffering right now.
Breeze Chaput learning his home is gone.
I did a little mitigation around it, but essentially there was wood underneath it and fire came through. So so it went down, like 2 ash from the pictures I've seen, although I haven't gone back to visit.
Tonight, roughly 3,000 additional homes are being evacuated, with new roadblocks in place.
We've had strong westerly winds again coming down these drainages.
Firefighters watching the fire move to the southeast.
This area right in here.
Burning 10,000 acres today alone.
We've had very strong winds since last night all through today.
It remains unclear how many additional homes have been lost.
Cabin is a cabin and it's a wonderful home, but I am fine.
Chaput simply happy to be alive as he begins his plans to rebuild.
So that's what's ahead, a journey, and I trust in my heart.
This morning, the Cameron Peak fire is a little more than 60% contained, but firefighters are now having to deal with a new danger. The Cowwood Drive started burning on Saturday, about 50 miles away from the Cameron Peak fire. It exploded in size over the weekend, though, growing almost to 9,000 acres in just 24 hours.
Well, the people controlling massive blackouts in California apparently didn't have basic training on how to handle an emergency. Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E, started these blackouts last year, a way to prevent its equipment from possibly sparking a wildfire on high-risk days. The first blackouts caused mass chaos, more than 2 million people suddenly without power. An investigation by the Associated Press found that hundreds of people were handling blackouts for PG&E, but only a handful of them had any training on California's disaster response playbook. PG&E says more employees have undergone that training now. It's improved its blackouts to affect fewer people for shorter amounts of time.
It is time to give thanks with family, but with COVID-19 cases on the rise, this year's holidays come with a warning. Learn why it's not just about the location of your gathering, but also who will be attending your event. After so many months of isolation, it is a tough pill to swallow. But experts say as the U.S. braces for a second wave during the colder months, preventive measures are definitely necessary.
Ridabeth Shabazi tells us what we need to consider before planning any family gatherings during the holidays.
Most importantly, be with family, spend some time with family, and create some memories.
It's a time for feasting with family that so many look forward to all year.
I've been hosting our family holiday functions since my husband and I got married 36 years ago. So there's no way that my cousins or my nieces and nephews will let me change it.
But health experts are warning, with COVID-19 cases on the rise in more than 40 states, don't make the decision lightly.
So you have to weigh that risk of the desire to do something you always do to make you feel normal in the middle of the pandemic, to get together, versus what's the risk of catching it and what's the risk of transmitting it to other people.
Dr. Christopher Belcher with Ascension St. Vincent in Indianapolis says it's not just about the location of the gathering, but also who will be attending.
If you have the elderly, if you have these extended family members who have medical problems, all getting together, it can be a very bad situation.
If you are going forward with plans to gather and eat, here's what health experts recommend. Consider the mode of transportation. It's better to drive than to fly or take other modes of public transportation. Limit the number of people. Do as much as you can outside rather than indoors where the virus is known to spread more easily. If you do gather inside, open some windows to allow fresh air in. Plan to wear masks indoors when you're not eating. Limit your activities in the 2 weeks before you gather. Shop for gifts and groceries online as much as possible. And put some thought into the seating arrangement. Spread people out as much as possible and seat people from the same household together. Avoid buffet-style dining and potlucks. If you are sick, do not travel and do not attend gatherings and celebrations. And get the flu vaccine before the holidays.
I think people are ready to get back to a normal way of life, yeah. It's a little depressing.
While some say they won't change a thing, others are already making adjustments.
The kids will quarantine for a couple of days at a friend's apartment that's available, and then they'll get a COVID test.
We're having a quiet Thanksgiving with just my son and my husband and I, and we're skipping the family Thanksgiving this year.
A lot of experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci also recommend connecting virtually instead. It's not ideal, but it might be a lot better than the alternative. And it ensures that you and your family members stay safe. You might want to keep in mind that past holidays like Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July have all caused spikes across the country.
Ahead, keeping the music going, how some high school marching bands are staying in step despite the coronavirus pandemic. Welcome back. Coming up, Desk Duty, how one dad's YouTube video is changing the way kids learn all across the country.
Plus a new plan to give astronauts cell service on the moon. I got to hear this. Anyway, it's coming up in just a few minutes. Right now we get to your headlines. And in the news this hour, the man you see here in jail under a $3 million bond, accused of throwing a liquor bottle that hit a 5-year-old child in the face. This happened in Rockingham County on Isabel Loop in Reidsville on Saturday. Sheriff's office tells us that the child's injuries were serious. They were taken to the hospital and are expected to recover. Meanwhile, Aaron Shepard is charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Rockingham County Sheriff's office tells they expect to file additional charges. Right now, we don't know how Shepard might be connected to the child. Police trying to figure out who shot and killed a triad man. Greensboro police called a Hornaday Road this time yesterday morning. They found Adam Blake there. He'd been shot. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. So far, police haven't said what led up to the shooting, though, or whether they have any suspects.
A person shot in the head inside a home. It happened Saturday night on Business 220 in Stoneville. That's in Rockingham County. Deputies tell us someone driving by fired shots into a home, hitting a person inside in the head. That person was taken to the hospital. Deputies so far haven't said how serious their injuries are. Deputies also haven't told us if they believe the home was targeted or if they have any suspects.
This morning, we are learning more about what will happen to a Confederate statue that had been on display in the Piedmont for more than 100 years.
The Confederate statue was removed from uptown Lexington on Friday, just days after the city reached a deal with its owners, the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The statue was taken to an undisclosed location. The United Daughters of the Confederacy says it plans to raise money to put the statue up on private land somewhere in Davidson County. They have set up a page on the fundraising site, Give Butter, for that. As part of the settlement, though, the city of Lexington paid to have the statue removed and stored somewhere safe.
You'll need to be a bit more careful about where you park your car in downtown Greensboro. Starting today, the city will resume issuing citations for parking violations. The city had stopped giving out those tickets at the start of the pandemic, giving out warnings instead. But again, that all ends today.
Well, dangerous driving is catching the eye of High Point police. Starting this morning, officers will be out along major roads, not with tickets, but instead with one simple reminder. Lieutenant Peter Abernathy says officers will help educate drivers to slow down, put their phones away, and leave a little more room for other cars. They're doing this to help change dangerous driving behavior that could turn deadly. To put it in perspective, more than 1,300 crashes have happened on East Chester Drive since 2017, making it the most dangerous road in the city.
This year has been really troubling because out of our 13 crashes this year that have been fatal, 5 of those crashes have been involving cars that were going at least 100 miles an hour.
Officers also target drivers on North and South Main Street, Johnson Street, and North Centennial Street. These roads account for about 20% of the crashes in High Point since 2017.
A new police chief will be officially sworn in one community today. City of Graham selected Christy Cole to take over as the new chief. She's already been serving as interim chief since June. She's been with the department since 1997. She'll be sworn in as chief during a ceremony in front of Graham City Hall at 10 o'clock this morning.
It was a nice weekend, and it's going to be a nice start to your work week here. We're at 50 degrees at PTI, 52 in Winston-Salem, 45 being reported out of the Wilkesboros, 53 already in Burlington, 48 in Asheboro, 43 degrees coming out of Reidsville. Here's the composite of the satellite and radar, and you can see we do have this shower activity up to our northwest in the Mississippi Valley. That's going to be staying there. It's going to stall out. It's not expected to be affecting our weather. What we're going to be looking at is some cloud cover coming in from the east for the next couple of days. And in fact, some of the computer models are indicating we could actually end up seeing a shower or two on Wednesday. I think we're going to see more cloud cover on Wednesday. Still not convinced about the possibility of seeing those showers, but we'll say maybe a 15% chance at this point, not quite a 20% chance. We'll just say 15 right now. But The cloud cover will definitely be there. Our humidity is going to also go up as we get along in the week. So very dry today and pretty much tomorrow, but then the humidity goes back. It's not going to be uncomfortable humidity, but you will notice that it's a little more humid out there. That's the point there. Now, we've got a high pressure system over top of us at this point. We've got a couple of cold fronts that are going to merge, but again, like I said, they're going to stall out to our northwest and not be moving down into North Carolina or into the Piedmont Triad. What we are going to be seeing, though, is this cloud cover and higher humidity that's going to be drifting in kind of pretty much coming in from the east. Our winds are going to be primarily east. There'll be a little southeast, there'll be a little northeast, but east is the operative phrase there, as that's where our weather is going to be coming from for the next few days. For today, mostly sunny, the high around 70, 72, we'll say 71 to split the difference. Our winds anywhere from 4 to 5 miles per hour. Right now they're calm winds, but when the winds do start stirring up, it's not going to be much at all. But again, it's going to be warm, moist winds coming out of the south and the southeast. Mostly clear skies tonight. Dropped down to about 50. Now, over the weekend, some folks actually saw our low temperatures drop into the 30s, especially Saturday night into Sunday. That brief spell of that very cold weather, I think, is pretty much done. Right now, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-70s and lows in the mid-50s for the next several days.
Social media companies are facing increasing scrutiny.
A lot of lawmakers are starting to wonder how much power these tech giants really should have. Mark Meredith has that story.
Lawmakers from both parties appear eager to rein in the power of social media companies and big tech conglomerates, but for two different reasons. Congressional Republicans and President Trump are outraged Twitter blocked links to a New York Post story alleging improper behavior by Joe Biden's son Hunter. Since then, Twitter has backtracked and allowed the story to be shared. Facebook, though, also limited the story's circulation. This week, the Senate Judiciary Committee is going to consider whether or not to subpoena Twitter's CEO over this matter. And senior Republicans told Maria Bartiromo on Sunday Morning Futures more scrutiny is needed.
Just as China's trying to influence our election, we now find that Twitter and Facebook are doing the exact same thing, and they should be ashamed, and the American public is outraged about this.
President Trump is also outraged with Twitter, even as a frequent user himself. He blasted social media platforms during a campaign rally Saturday night.
The big tech companies have become crazed. They won't let the fact that we caught him in a total corrupt deal, they won't let the news get out.
A new report from a House Judiciary Subcommittee encourages the government to do more to rein in the power of these tech giants. The report says companies like Apple and Google have too much power, not only with information, but with commerce. They write, quote, "To put it simply, companies that were once scrappy underdog startups that challenged the status quo have become the kind of monopolies we last saw in the era of oil barons and railroad tycoons." Last week, the head of the Federal Communications Commission suggested that he could soon clarify what kind of legal protections social media companies should have. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
It began as a small project to cheer up his wife in her battle against cancer, but just ahead, we'll show you how one man's version of a Harry Potter scene's become quite a neighborhood attraction.
It is time now for our pet of the week, and we would like for you to meet Chloe. Chloe's about 3 years old and 25 pounds. The Animal Adoption and Rescue Foundation of Winston-Salem says she is a lab and cattle dog mix. She sounds pretty perfect too. She is crate trained, she is housebroken, and she's very curious about other dogs and would probably do well with another dog because she has grown up with bigger dogs. She already knows how to sit and down, but she does need a little more consistent training. Chloe needs regular walks because she has lots of energy and a big fenced-in yard to let that energy out. She's very much a lap dog though, and she will follow her human anywhere they go, and she adores your attention. So her adoption fee is $200, but Chloe is spayed. She is microchipped to adopt. If you want to learn more about her, you can visit the Animal Adoption and Rescue Foundation of Winston-Salem at aarfws.org.